Well, good evening, everybody. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather. And I, first of all, have to open this, of course, if I can get this kind of out of my way here, by giving a quick but very heartfelt thank you for all of the work that you all have put in supporting this brand. And I know that sounds weird, but really, it takes dedication for a fan base to support and stay committed to a brand like this one and to have you all on board consistently for so long. Some of you tell me you've been following ever since this was just a Twitter page called Ellis County Weather that began back in October of 2015. It means a lot that all of you have stuck around. Some of you are brand new followers of this brand, and if you are, welcome. I hope we meet your expectations. I know that I hear all the time from people how much this has impacted your lives. For some folks, you're just weather junkies and you just enjoy putting this out there. A lot of you have said that this has been life impacting or life changing for you. Those are the folks. It's you who I get up every day to continue working for, even though it doesn't feel like we've had really anything to talk about in the last several weeks. Fortunately, I think that's about to change, but for the most part, we have been through a lot in the last 10 years, and it's a pleasure for me to get to share this experience with you and to mark this occasion. I hope that you looked at the weather video, the retrospective, I guess, the looking back video that I put out earlier today. If you haven't seen it, please go give that a watch. It was a pleasure to put that together, and it was eye-opening, really, to watch the whole thing together and to really reflect on what the last 10 years have meant to myself, to my family, my friends, our sponsors who make this possible and make it possible for me to make this a full-time job and to continue this work regardless of what our weather may strike, and ultimately the communities around us. One of the things that I have really been impressed with is the fact that I'm able to go out and actually work with the communities that I grew up in. I'm a seventh generation resident of Ellis County. It means so much that I can give back to the community that has given so much to my family over many, many different years, 160 years or so, in fact. So it really does put a lot on my heart that this brand has been so successful that I've had the opportunity to become a staple in this community. It's weird to say that, and I know that a lot of you tell me that I'm like a celebrity, and if you've told me that, you've heard me say that I wish my car and my bank account were a little more celebrity-like. That would be a little nicer, but not quite there yet, but who knows? We'll see what the next 10 years has. But the Facebook page has over 50,000 people on it. The Instagram and the YouTube and the X account, all of those have a number of folks who have tuned in day and, yes, night. I mean, I'm talking 2:30 in the afternoon or 2:30 in the morning. I have continued to provide reliable and, what am I trying to say? Local reliable coverage. Mostly reliable on that front. And it is my commitment and my charge to always be able to do that. And tonight, I want to take a few moments to reminisce and talk about different stories that we have. And yes, later on in this broadcast, we will talk about that cold front we have coming, because what have we been doing the last 10 years that's made this successful? We've talked about the weather. So I see a few comments coming up here. I appreciate all of the congratulations and all of the positive. I've heard it all day today. People letting me know that they are appreciative of this brand, and that really, really does mean a lot. But all day today, I thought about how appreciative I am to you that have tuned in and have sent money in and sent your best wishes. And I've shared different family events, from myself being ill to family members being ill, and different things going on throughout the past 10 years that we've gone through, and you all have been just like family, because you all have kind of gone through those times with me. So it's been a busy day, but I'm glad I get a moment to sit down and actually take a moment to celebrate this. and to recognize the commitment that you all have made, that our sponsors have made, that mentors of mine, people that have worked with me. I didn't actually mention Matt, the moderator, who is, I jokingly call him Matt the Mod. He hates that, so, don't say that in public. But Matt is not on tonight, but he has made the difference in so many live streams during severe weather events. If you ever see an earpiece in my ear, that's who I'm listening to. Matt letting me know, hey, I see this, I see that. If you've ever goofed off in the comments and been put in timeout for a little while, that's Matt. He's making sure that the chat session and those kinds of things are orderly, so that not only can I extrapolate information from that, but we can have a productive conversation during those live streams. Because a number of times, like earlier this March and back in 2020 and back in 2015 when this thing got going, we've had very dangerous situations that have gone on through this brand's history that have made it very, very important that we continue to operate well. And Matt is in the background making sure that happens. He's also really helped me to kind of guide myself as far as the business side of things. And he's been a good kind of springboard for ideas and trying to figure things out. This has been so experimental, and weather streaming as a whole in the last 10 years has really kind of been it's really been a renaissance. It's been kind of a new thing. It's been very novel. So we're all kind of trying to find out our space. There are bigger streamers than me. There are people that cover the entire country, that cover the entire state. They tend to be a little bit of a different flavor than what we do here, and nothing against them, but we have our own way of doing things, and surely any brand is going to have its own way of operating. And so to go through those things and to see the differences between them and myself, I've learned a lot. I've been able to kind of find where I fit in the bigger scheme of things. And people ask me all the time if I'm going to expand. And to tell you the truth, I think I'm good where I'm at. I know that there's so much more potential. And people have told me you can make it as a national streamer. I just don't know if I want to. Because having a local following and having a local brand has made us successful over the past 10 years. And really, it's been part of what has made me feel like I can actually pull this off. I can do this. And we can cover 1 or 2 storms at a time and not be so overwhelmed by activity that I have to go state by state by state and go from Maine down to Kentucky, down to Arizona just to cover everything. We're staying right here so that we can give you wall-to-wall continual coverage from start to finish, consistent coverage. That's the big difference. These guys that are covering way too many things, well, they can't really give you consistent coverage because they're trying to cover too many things. The TV stations in Dallas, Fort Worth are the same way. They're trying to cover multiple different counties, multiple different parts of north central Texas, and it's hard for them to stay consistent on one thing or another. And I've had many of you tell me, yeah, I mean, they're covering the storm in Denton. I'm in Stephenville. I need to know what happened in Stephenville. Well, they'll make it there eventually, and then they got to go back up to Sherman, cover that storm, and in the time it takes to get back to Stephenville, so much has already happened. Here at South Metro Weather, we're able to stay with one storm fairly consistently, and I know that you all have enjoyed that coverage. So I don't plan to expand. If we do, it's going to be pretty close to our area. It's going to be pretty local. I know there's some people in Somerville and Hood counties and over in Henderson that have repeatedly asked me to expand there, and sometimes we cover it unofficially. I consider Ellis, Johnson, Hill, and Navarro counties to be our core area. Every now and then I'll cover something that may blow through our area and just nudge east a little bit or start out just west of us that we have to pay attention to. But officially, I think we'll keep it down to those 4 counties, at least for the foreseeable future. We'll see what happens going forward, but I definitely won't be going too large to where we lose that consistent, reliable coverage that has made us so successful now over 10 years. And in fact, I was looking at it, and at 7:58 p.m., we will hit exactly 10 years to the minute that we hit that point. And I sent out that initial tweet saying, "Welcome to Ellis County weather coverage for the residents of Ellis County, Texas. And I mean, since then, after that point, of course, we had the December 26, 2015 tornadoes. That really put Ellis County weather on the map. 2 days later, moved over to Facebook, and the rest is history. It blew up from there. Of course, a couple of years ago, we updated this to South Metro weather. Took on 3 additional counties. I think that's gone fairly well. Wasn't the most popular decision with some folks at that time, but we persisted. We stuck with it, and we went forward anyway. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And so I want to take one last moment to recognize just a few folks. Again, I talked about Matt. I talked about our sponsors. You saw them at the beginning of this. The only sponsor that is not on that intro, you see him on all of the weekend updates, Ship KTX. And in fact, there's one sponsor that's not here because I changed the layout a little bit for this. There he is. Got to make sure Jimmy's there. So I'll tell a couple of stories. First, DJ, Daryl, as most people know him. Daryl at KTX 3PL. We grew up together. This guy is just about the same age I am. And he owns his own business. I own mine. Granted, he's been significantly more successful than I have. I can tell you that right now. But we both have become successful businessmen. We've both become family men. And so it's been interesting to kind of see where we are now and look back over so many shared memories and so many laser tag tournaments and so many days at school, and then, talking through friend groups and all the things that goes along with that. But it's great to now see Daryl with his success and to get to compare notes. I mean, we're adults now. We're trying to act like grown-ups, running businesses and stuff. I mean, it's just crazy to me. I have to talk about Jimmy Porch a little bit. Of course, I made sure we got his logo up here. Sorry for the delay, Jimmy, but again, I was making some changes because we're doing something different tonight, and somehow that ended up not there. But he is there. Let me tell you the story of how that started. I was ready to put pen to paper with an events company back in, I don't even remember well, it was 2020. So in, I think, January, February 2020, we were working out this deal. We were ready to put pen to paper when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Obviously, that took a big hit on an events company. So unfortunately, we weren't able to move forward with that decision. Later on that month, I'm in the line, I think at the voting office, when Jimmy Porch turns around, and he and I knew each other. He turned around and says, "I heard somewhere that you were looking for advertisers." I hadn't really put that out there. Somehow through the grapevine, he heard about this possible opportunity, and he told me that he was interested, and so we worked it out. And Jimmy has been a sponsor of this brand ever since that time. That was back in the Ellis County weather days, and he has been a constant help with this brand. He's been consistent in supporting us, and I'm sure he'll be around for a very long time. And of course, we work with exclusive partners here. If you're in one industry, we only advertise that company in that industry. It's just easier on me to keep up with things because I have to be able to focus on the weather here. I can't be dealing with drama and that sort of thing. But we only have one real estate agent here, and I've had plenty ask, but Jimmy Porch is here. He has supported this from the beginning. And we also have Synergy Roofing. I've worked closely with them as well. They are a wonderful company. They just recently did the roof at Waxahachie Care as well, so they are very well steeped in the community. Steve Rainey's been in this community for a long time, loves Waxahachie and Ellis County, and I've learned a lot about roofing damage during storms and that kind of thing. Methodist Midlothian is a sponsor of ours. I've used their hospital multiple times. One notable opportunity was when I had a weird pericarditis episode, and I brought some of you along with that as well, updates on the page and that sort of thing. You were very supportive. But so many of these companies, Worth Collecting, a company that we shop from often because my son is obsessed with Pokemon cards. And so there's an opportunity. I think they're live on Whatnot right now, actually. Didn't mean to compete there, but so many of these companies that we work with that have been with this brand for a long time, that support what we do every single day. make a big difference in terms of my ability to do this, because I can't really hold a full-time job at this point. This has to be my full-time gig if I'm going to be available anytime, night or day, to cover the weather. I work with Hope Health on a part-time basis, but they allow me the flexibility it takes to continue to do this, and I'm eternally grateful to them for that as well. It's been a pretty busy 3 weeks at Hope Health. Good news is the weather's been pretty boring, but they might have to start to share me, because we do have things coming on the horizon. So let's take a shift here and let's do what we've been doing for 10 years. Let's get right back into it. Let's talk about the weather. This is what we have today. We have highs and lows here. You can see this high pressure ridge that is in place. This is what has brought us so much dry, warm weather. And I think I'm blurry on the screen. Have I been blurry this entire time? I just didn't realize it. Let's see if we can adjust that. I made that whole long speech and I looked fuzzy the entire time. Let's see. Something you'll quickly learn about me is I am very particular about how everything looks on camera. Not necessarily myself, but just I want it to be the best quality. So if I'm a little fuzzy, I apologize for that. So let's get back into this. But you can see the high pressure ridge. This is the kind of the current look of things from the GFS model here. So this is the high pressure ridge that's been in place. This right here over California, this is the low pressure system that we will be watching over the next several days that will head our direction and will send a cold front to the southeast and will bring cooler temperatures and will help to disrupt this pattern. We're going to see this high pressure ridge kind of start to break down a little bit, and then this low pressure system will send that front through. Now, the salient details of this front are still a little bit in the air. I want to see what happens when this data gets into the closer range, the 2 to 3 day range of the high resolution models. That's when I'll start really taking a look at the rain forecast and that sort of thing, because it has to be the shorter term models that really give us more detailed information. That's when I'll really start to zero in on the timing. But for now, I want to just kind of show you how this is going to transition. So we have, again, the high pressure ridge and that low pressure. Let's jump ahead here and zoom in a little bit. This is 1 o'clock Saturday. You can see the front where you see the dip. You see that disruption, kind of this disturbance here in this flow. So as that continues to move southeastward, you'll see that bend, and of course you can see those more northwesterly winds at the higher levels. And by the way, if you see the numbers here, that's the height at which we get 500 millibars. Let me actually show you something for all of you weather nerds here. I figure if you're tuned in tonight, you're probably a bit of a weather geek. So you can see the numbers are lower, closer to the low pressure system, but if you look at the high pressure area, the numbers are higher. Higher pressure where you have this high pressure ridge, lower numbers, lower pressure where you have that low pressure trough. So that's what we're looking at here. That's what those numbers are if you ever see those on this brand. But you have that front here. This is 1 o'clock. So this front is already moving through at 1 p.m. The models have been trending a little bit earlier in terms of that frontal arrival. And if that happens, number one, that could affect our high temperature on Saturday. Number two, that will affect the rain chances. If we get it earlier in the day, we likely won't see intense storms in our area. If it's later in the day, earlier this morning, the models were looking at possibly around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, or right around peak heating. That would probably spark more intense storms in our area. So we have to watch what that does. And I believe the Euro model is starting to trend earlier as well. We'll see what happens there. The GFS and the Euro, generally the dominating models that we watch, there's several of them. So we have to look at the whole board, right, to get our ideas. And we're still far enough away. We could see some change here. What's been good about this, it has been fairly consistently going in the right direction across our area. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. I expect we could see a significant change in this map as we go into tomorrow. This is day 5. This is way out there, of course, for a severe weather forecast. But this generally allows me to show you and kind of communicate that we're looking at this having a better chance northeast of us. Now, this has been extended southwestward since this was initially created, and it is generally getting closer. But again, we'll see what the overnight data have for us. I do think that the day 4, when we get to tomorrow, will look different than this, and it could very well pull this farther back. If anything, it could actually push it farther to the southeast and a little more east of our area. So I don't know that we have the greatest rain chances here, and if we continue to see that trend, I will drop those rain chances for tomorrow's forecast, which is not the greatest news to have because we definitely need our as much rain as we can get from this system and really any system we have in the future. October is usually one of our wettest months. I think at DFW it's the second wettest month of the year. We've had little to none across our area, and you can already see abnormally dry conditions over most of our area, at least half of us. And then, of course, from Johnson County, Hood, Summerfeld, parts of Bosque, and Erath counties, looking at moderate drought conditions. So this is only going to get worse. We will see a new map on Thursday. This is only going to get worse, folks. I don't see this improving anytime soon. So we will have an opportunity to get one more of these maps in before the front gets here. It doesn't look like we're going to have a whole lot of rain with this system. The good news is that while we don't exactly have a great rain chance with this, it does look like our overall pattern will shift, and that will allow more fronts to move in. So we have better chances of rain going forward, just not anything in the immediate future for our area. So let's take a look at the forecast. Let's put this all together. Tomorrow, another 90-degree day. Thursday, maybe a little bit cooler here. Friday, 90. Saturday, 91. Now, this is the day the front gets here, and we will watch what this does. If this frontal timing continues to change, that forecast could as well. We could be looking at lower temperatures, or we could have the same high temperature just earlier in the day. We had that compressional heating when the front's moving in. You get that hot air that kind of gets compressed right ahead of it. Sometimes that can jump your temperatures up a few degrees. So our high could stay the same, could just get there at 1 or 2 o'clock instead of 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Low chance of rain, 30% now. If the trends continue to go the way they are, probably dropping that to 20% tomorrow. And then on the back side of this, we do have cooler air. Now, what I want to point out here, don't get too excited because we're looking at 85 Sunday, 87 Monday, 89 Tuesday. So by Tuesday, Wednesday, we're warming back up. But the good news is it does not look like we stay there very long. Another stronger system should be on the way behind this one. And with that, we should see more of a fall-like pattern where we get one front after another. So we'll see what this does over the course of the next couple of weeks. The models have looked pretty consistently like that ridge of high pressure won't be able to come in and dominate the way it has. So I do think that we will see an improvement there. For now, 90, 89, 90, 91. And Christian, I will get to you in just a moment here. I see your question. But we have just a few more days of it. Just a few more days of it. And y'all, my wife has been badgering me with a question. When is it going to get cooler? When am I going to get my fall weather? I have a big hope that for the Crossroads of Texas Festival coming up this next weekend, the 25th, I will, of course, be out there. I'm a media partner there, right there in downtown Waxahachie, getting all the emails tonight. I was getting all the information. I'm really getting psyched for it. Hope to see you there. That's the Go Texan Crossroads of Texas Festival right here in Waxahachie, October 25th. Don't miss it. But I'm really hoping we continue the cooler air because last year was kind of warm. Then the year before that, I remember texting with Kelly Phillips, Bob Phillips' wife, and she was going, "Hey, when's the rain gonna stop?" Because it was rainy and misty and gross. That might have been a few years ago, but regardless, we are going to have a great time out there. And hey, if it's a little wet and chilly that day, I think we're probably going to prefer that to just this monstrosity that we've been dealing with the last several days. So it does look like cooler air is on the way. Of course, this weekend, we have the Heritage Festival over in, what is it? I think it's Heritage Day in Midlothian. There's Heritage Day, Founders Day. I get them all mixed up. But I think it's Heritage Day in Midlothian this weekend, when we may have cooler temperatures there. We'll have to watch that. But hey, our fall festivals might actually start to feel a little more like fall. We're still going to be above normal here. Normal is right around 80 degrees. we're still going to be above normal there, but I think this front might be the tip of the iceberg. I think this might be just the beginning before we finally start to cool things down. Now, we had a question, Christian, how do you build your graphics? I'm a weather enthusiast myself, Christian. So I got these from, I forget the name of the company. I do a lot of just different things. I build this through it's Photoshop, and the reason I use Photoshop is because now it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time and patience to kind of get it the way you want it, but you're able to turn certain layers on and off and move things around easily. If you learn anything about me working with me, it's that I want things set one particular way, and I want them to work that way for the rest of eternity. So I have this graphic. I use Photoshop specifically only because of how easy it is to customize this. There's 100 different ways to make your own graphics. I'm not going to go into how I do mine. I don't want anybody copying what I do, right? But there are a number of different ways to do this and to make this look good and to put your own spin on it. Don't copy what I'm doing. Go find something you like, and I encourage you to explore, making your own kind of weather graphics, because that's the fun of it, right? Is having your own product, having pride in it, and being able to do that. Now, our high temperature in Waco today was 91 degrees. Waiting to see what DFW says. I don't know if we've gotten that yet, but I will tell you. I'm going to take a look at what the National Weather Service is saying about next week. Yeah, so they've got us right around 89, 90 for Monday. I don't know that I have us that warm yet. We'll take a look. We'll see what tomorrow's data says. But we will be looking at temperatures warming up before a stronger system comes in, and it may take a couple of these to really kind of beat the heat out of here and get us back to those normal temperatures. We should be right around 80 degrees. Won't be long before normals are in the 70s and go on from there. Of course, the sun is down. We now have sunsets in the 6 o'clock hour here. And Terry, I'll be getting dinner here in just a moment. We're good to go. But we will be seeing those sunsets getting earlier and earlier as well. And so that's going to make it harder and harder for us to heat up. Regardless of how much that high pressure has been around, we're getting into the fall period, whether the weather likes it or not. So we will continue to cool down one way or the other, but this cold front will help. A stronger front on the backside of that again, it's still, 8, 9, 10 days away. So we can't quite put too much on the forecast on that yet, but it looks good. And then that should make it easier for more fronts to move in as we continue to go through fall, and one way or the other, inevitably cool down over the next few weeks. Again, thank you so much for supporting this brand for the past 10 years. I look forward to another 10 years and however long of South Metro weather as we continue to cover North Central Texas weather through the highs and the lows and the storms and the sunshine and the droughts and all the things that we have. I think that this fall may still bring us some storms, so make sure you're following South Metro weather and that you're prepared for stormier conditions, because ready or not, it will be here eventually. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. More updates on this weekend's cold front and the inevitable cool down to finally some fall temperatures over the next several weeks will be covered here. And trust me, my wife will make sure I am staying on top